Hello, welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Now, a warning for you, this review will not be of a craft beer. Today we're going to look at kind of interesting segment of the Japanese beer market. It's called low-malt beer, and there are a number of beers. Just about every brewery makes them, not craft breweries, but certainly the major craft breweries and companies which are not traditionally breweries, and that's what we're going to look at today, is an example of a company that has their beer contract brewed for them. The beer in question is this one. It's called Barreal Grand, and as you will see, it says down below, it is a beer-like alcoholic beverage. So they are coming clean these days. They didn't used to put that definitely on their label. They do have happoshu in Japanese, which is a similar kind of concept. One thing that's happening is that tax rates are being revised periodically, and the goal is to make the beer tax and the low malt or no malt beer tax equal. And so when low malt beer used to be taxed based on the alcohol content, or malt content rather. So 100% malt beers had a much higher tax rate than low malt or no malt beers. But over time they are kind of, they're trying to bring them together. And so eventually the low malt, no malt tax will be the same as the 100% malt tax. So this is good for brewers, for example, craft brewers who make 100% malt beers, and it's probably bad for people who like to economize on their beer drinking by drinking fairly bad low malt or no malt beers, but which can be bought very, very cheaply. So those prices will be going up, and the prices for all malt, 100% malt beers will be going down, or in any case, they will be equal. So this is what we call, again, a beer-like alcoholic beverage, and it's a rebrand, actually. And this is made for the TopValu line of Aeon supermarkets. So this is the brand that Aeon supermarkets sell, TopValu. And it started in 2010. It didn't have the word grand, and this is, of course, purely marketing. There probably is nothing much grand about this beer. We will see. I have had the earlier version of it, but it's been a long, long time. And so it's a rebrand, and it was rebranded in March of 2023. And what happened, this beer was originally brewed from 2010 in Korea by Height Jinro. So it was much cheaper to brew your low malt, no malt beer in Korea and have it shipped over. But that has changed, and since 2018, this has been made by Kirin, one of the major brewing companies in Japan. So on Rate Beer, no ratings for this one. There are ratings for the earlier version, and the Height Jinro version made in Korea. Untapped, there were 7 ratings when I checked, and no scores whatsoever. The ingredients are malt, hops, unmalted barley, corn, and sugar, and they do specify that it is domestic sugar. So a lot of beers are infused with alcohol, and those beers are what we call fortified. This is they're getting their alcohol jump from these sugars. Okay, so it actually contains less than 25% malt. Okay. Okay, so I don't think I have anything to add. Oh, the price here, this is very, very cheap. 118 yen before tax and 130 yen after tax. So this cracks the $1 level. I mean, it's probably around 90 cents US, something like that. Don't have high expectations for it. This is purely for research. And actually there are three beers that we will look at in this series. This is a 5%er. There is a 6%er, and then a 4% low carb beer that we'll look at from this Barreal Grand. Okay. All right, it is very typically clear gold straw with a nice frothy sort of white head. You can see this snow globy sort of carbonation rising. Okay, the aroma is not promising at all. It has a light, stinky, weedy sort of aroma. Something like 3-day-old garden mulch compost. Yeah. Flavor about on the same level. It has a kind of initial attack of sort of harsh fruitiness, moderate bitterness in mid-palate. Then it kind of fades away. It doesn't really stay around mercifully. But it does leave that kind of residue of that kind of leafy, mulchy sort of element on the tongue. So, one more thing, they tout the Ibuki hops from the Tohoku region of Japan, which is where these hops are grown, Ibuki hops. And Ibuki is a Japanese hop, and it's used in many Japanese beers, so it's not really I don't think there's anything special. They simply put it on there, which is kind of unusual for a low malt, no malt beer. They usually don't specify any of their ingredients at all by name, but this one says Ibuki hops. So they are wasted in this beer. Yeah, to rate this, I would probably give it a 2.0, something like that, no higher. This is definitely not a pleasant beer. It is cheap. There are, what we're seeing more and more though is our 100% malt beers coming down in price. So I've reviewed a few of them. In fact, TopValu makes a very, very nice one, premium, called Premium Lager. And they also made a Furano hop one, which great, not great, but very, very good beers. And they are, 150 yen, something like that. So, much, much cheaper than even major company beers, which are around 220 now, or even 230 for a can. So, in any case, once again, this is called Barreal Grand. It's done by Eon TopValu brand, and it is a kind of low market beer. Cannot recommend it very highly, but if you're interested in all beers as I am, you may want to give it a try. So go ahead and go to an Eon mall or Eon supermarket, and you will find this on the shelves. I think it's also showing up in a number of other liquor stores as well. So, all right, that's it for today. I will be doing 3 of these, 3 different beers in the same series. So, yeah, and I probably will make a playlist for that. So if you want to watch those, please do take care. Subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment. Tell me your experience with low malt or no malt beers. Bye bye.